Short answer, yes, remyelination can happen, but we don't yet have an approved treatment that reliably restores everything for everyone. What's working right now is the science, proof that humans can repair some myelin, plus early trials showing biological repair signals. For example, in optic nerve damage, visual evoked potentials have shown signals traveling a bit faster, suggesting better insulation. Researchers are testing several strategies: activate repair cells, remove the biological breaks, protect axons, and improve the environment for healing. And we're finally measuring repair in people, moving beyond the mouse looked fantastic to human biomarkers and imaging. So the question has shifted from, can MS damage be repaired, to, how do we make repair happen reliably and strongly enough to improve real life for real people? Next up, why most MS treatments have been playing defense, and why repair research matters. To understand why repair research is such a big deal, we need to understand what most MS treatments are designed to do. Disease-modifying therapies primarily try to reduce future inflammatory attacks and new damage. Think of MS like brain headquarters has a very serious security problem. For years, medicine has basically been working on better security. Keep the troublemakers out. Stop them from attacking the wiring. Somebody please stop setting the building on fire. And modern DMTs have gotten much better at that. But there's another problem. Parts of the building were already damaged. Stopping somebody from smashing another window doesn't automatically replace the 12 windows they smashed last Tuesday. That's where repair research comes in. Researchers aren't only asking, how do we stop MS from causing more damage? They're asking, can we help the nervous system repair damage that's already there? That's the shift. Before we get into the repair shop, quick coffee break. If these videos help you understand MS without requiring you to read 17 medical journals and earn an honorary neuroscience degree, you can support the channel through Buy Me a Coffee. Those coffees help me keep making these videos, researching the science, creating the graphics, paying for the tools behind the channel, and keeping this information free for everybody who needs it. There's absolutely no pressure. Watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing already helps enormously. But if you'd like to throw a few dollars into the Brain Headquarters operating budget, the Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description. Now, back to fixing some myelin. Here's something that sometimes gets lost when we talk about MS. Your body already knows how to make myelin. Cells called oligodendrocytes make myelin in the central nervous system, and there are precursor cells, basically immature cells waiting for their opportunity to become myelin-making oligodendrocytes. After myelin is damaged, the body can sometimes recruit these cells and repair some of it. That's called remyelination. So scientists don't necessarily need to invent an entirely new biological ability. They're trying to figure out why the repair process sometimes works, and sometimes basically puts up an out-to-lunch sign, especially as MS progresses and people age. That's one of the biggest targets in current research. Can we wake that repair system back up? One major approach has been trying to encourage those precursor cells to mature into oligodendrocytes and start producing myelin. This has produced some of the most interesting remyelination research. You've probably heard about drugs like Clemastine, an older antihistamine that unexpectedly attracted attention because researchers found evidence suggesting it could promote remyelination. A small human trial called REBUILD found improvement in a measurement called visual evoked potential latency in people with chronic optic nerve damage from MS. Basically, researchers measured how quickly a visual signal traveled from the eye toward the brain. The signal got a little faster. That doesn't mean congratulations, MS reversed. But it was important because it suggested something biologically interesting might actually be happening in humans. However, later research also raised safety concerns about Clemastine in progressive MS, including a trial that was stopped early after disability outcomes worsened in the Clemastine group. So Clemastine itself is not the miracle myelin pill. And please don't go buy antihistamines thinking you're rebuilding your nervous system, but scientifically, it helped researchers prove something valuable. The repair system may be druggable, meaning we may be able to manipulate it. That's a big deal. Here's where things get interesting. Sometimes the problem may not be that your repair cells don't know what to do. The environment around damaged nerves may be actively making their job harder. Imagine you've hired somebody to repair the highway. They arrive with asphalt, equipment, workers, and brain headquarters says, "Perfect. We've closed 3 lanes, removed the road signs, filled the construction zone with inflammatory chemicals, and released 12 angry raccoons. Good luck. Chronic inflammation, scar tissue, changes in cell signaling, and other biological factors can create an environment where remyelination becomes difficult." So another branch of research is asking, instead of pushing the repair cells harder, can we remove whatever is stopping them? One target researchers have studied is LINGO-1, a protein involved in regulating myelination. A drug called Opicinumab was designed to block it. Early studies created excitement, but larger trials didn't produce the clear clinical success researchers hoped for. And that's actually an important part of this story. Because MS repair research is teaching scientists that there probably isn't one giant biological switch labeled myelin, on-off. I know, very inconsiderate of the nervous system. Here's something else researchers have realized. Myelin isn't the entire story. Underneath the myelin is the actual nerve fiber, the axon. Think of an electrical cable. Myelin is insulation. The axon is the wire. If the insulation is damaged, but the wire survives, there's something to repair. But if the underlying nerve fiber is severely damaged or lost, putting beautiful new insulation around absolutely nothing isn't going to help. Which means successful MS repair may require 2 things: remyelination and neuroprotection. Protect the nerve, restore the myelin, and this is why researchers are also investigating treatments aimed at protecting neurons and axons from degeneration. Because the ultimate goal isn't, "Look, we made myelin." The goal is, can you see better? Can you walk better? Can your hand work better? Can your brain process information better? That's the standard that ultimately matters. This is probably the most important chapter. You've probably watched MS research do this. Mouse study, amazing. Early trial, promising. Headline, scientists may have found. Later trial, well, and everybody with MS is standing there like, you people have been 5 years away for 20 years. There are several reasons. First, MS damage isn't identical from person to person. Second, the age of a lesion may matter. Third, the underlying axon has to be healthy enough to benefit. Fourth, researchers have to get the drug into the right place at the right concentration. Fifth, and this is huge, we need sensitive ways to measure remyelination. An MRI is wonderful, but a standard MRI wasn't designed to answer every microscopic question about myelin repair. Researchers are developing more specialized imaging techniques and biomarkers to detect changes that an ordinary MRI may miss. Because if we're going to test a repair treatment, we need to know whether the repair crew actually showed up. Here's another complication. Repair may be easier earlier than later. When inflammation damages myelin but the nerve fiber remains relatively intact, there may be a better opportunity for remyelination. Over time, chronic demyelination can contribute to axonal degeneration. Translation: there may be a window where the insulation is damaged, but the wire underneath can still be saved. That's one reason researchers increasingly talk about MS treatment as more than simply preventing relapses. The long-term dream could eventually become stop the immune attack, protect the nerve, repair the myelin, 3 jobs, not 1. And suddenly, the future of MS treatment looks less like one miracle medication and more like a combination repair crew. So let's return to the title. Scientists are trying to repair MS damage. Here's what's actually working. What's working is not one miracle drug. What's working is the science of repair itself. Researchers have demonstrated that remyelination happens naturally. Human studies have produced biological signals suggesting remyelination can potentially be influenced. Scientists are identifying pathways that encourage or inhibit myelin repair. They're developing better ways to measure repair. They're learning that neuroprotection probably has to accompany remyelination. And they're discovering why some strategies that looked fantastic on paper haven't translated into meaningful improvements. That last one sounds like failure. It isn't. Every failed trial that answers why something didn't work narrows the search. We're learning the rules of the repair system, and that's the stage we're actually in. Not, we cured MS, but also not, nobody knows how to repair anything. We're somewhere much more interesting in between. This is where I don't want the excitement around repair research to become false hope. There is currently no approved treatment that can reliably reverse established MS disability by completely rebuilding damaged myelin throughout the nervous system. So if somebody on Facebook says, "Neurologists don't want you to know this vitamin regenerates myelin," please protect your wallet and possibly your liver. But there is legitimate reason to pay attention to this field. Because MS treatment has spent decades becoming increasingly good at controlling inflammation, repair is one of the next major frontiers, and researchers aren't starting from zero anymore. They know remyelination is biologically possible. They're learning which cells are responsible. They're identifying pathways that control those cells. They're learning how inflammation, aging, and nerve damage interfere with repair. And they're beginning to test ways of manipulating those systems in people. The gap between, we understand some of the biology, and here's an effective treatment your neurologist can prescribe, can still be enormous. But we're finally asking a different question. Not just how do we stop MS, but what can we give back? For me, the most exciting future isn't a headline announcing one magical remyelination drug. It's combination treatment. Imagine treating MS from multiple directions. Control the autoimmune attack so you're preventing new damage. Protect vulnerable nerve fibers. Then create the biological conditions that allow the nervous system's own repair machinery to rebuild myelin. Defense plus protection plus repair. That's a completely different philosophy than simply waiting for damage and trying to manage whatever symptoms remain afterward. And we're not there yet. That's important. But for the first time, scientists aren't only trying to keep the building from burning down. They're seriously studying how to rebuild what's inside. And for anybody living with MS, that's research worth watching. Now I want to know something from you. If scientists eventually develop a treatment that can genuinely repair MS damage, what is the one symptom or ability you'd want back first? Walking, vision, balance, hand function, cognition, something completely different? Tell me in the comments, because preventing tomorrow's damage matters. But I think every MS warrior understands why the possibility of repairing yesterday's damage hits completely differently. And until science figures out how to get brain headquarters fully operational again, we'll keep making MS make sense. No doom, just truth.